What's up, YouTube? This is H1 Cards, and we have here. Introduce yourself.
What's up? This is Miguel, and I just got top 8 at the Amazing Defenders case tournament.
Yeah, and what were you playing today?
I was playing Adventure Spright.
Okay, sounds good. Let's get on with the profile.
All right, let's go. Dude, I'll flip these over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first, I guess the Spright stuff, pretty standard. I think probably nothing to explain here, right? 3 blue, 3 jet, 1 red, 1 carrot, right? Got the 3 starter, and then smashers, and then I guess the spice is main deck double cross here. No pixies, no gamma. You don't really need it in this deck, and then some people freak out about hitting this card, going first, or if you have to go second, but I just think it's too good to not.
Sounds good.
To not have in the main.
And
deck.
Normally, if you're going first, you always search the double cross.
Oh yeah, always, 100%. Unless it's like I'm going against a back row deck or something.
Oh, you're watching the game, dude. Let's see if he misses the field goal.
Oh, wait. You're doing a deck profile. You're good.
It's like it. Yeah, so
Don't worry about it.
pretty standard. 3 beaver, right? 2 angler. Yeah, this engine pretty self-explanatory. I think just about every Spright deck is playing this nowadays. So. Just something kind of spicy, because this is Adventure Spright, is that most of the time, unless I have to, I will not make sprint and send angler turn 1, unless I have to. Otherwise, I like to save it for follow-up, like if I have the Spright, if I have the Adventure engine on board. Next, obviously, just the 2 swap. You don't really need the 3rd one. Again, we're playing Adventure, we're playing Fenrir, so we're just whatever's necessary.
And it never conflicts with your Adventure stuff?
No, never conflicts. And I mean, if you draw this with Enchantress, like that's the god combo.
Oh yeah,
that's
true.
Enchantress, yeah, it's nasty. Angler, you can pitch it off a Fateful Adventure, get your 2 summons that way.
Oh, that's pretty good. So there's never really a brick.
Yeah, very rarely are you going to conflict with the Adventure engine and your Spright engine. Very rarely. Like, I've been playing this deck for a few weeks. I don't think it's happened once. So, yeah. So, all good there. Yeah, and then here we go with the Adventure package, right? So, 3 Enchantress, 3 right, the 1 Fateful, the 1 Draco back, 1 Griffin, obviously, and then for the little bit of spice, right, main deck the Elite. Yeah, I think these ones are pretty self-explanatory. Get your negate on board, helps protect your combos. The Adventure engine can clear boards like nothing, so that's the main reason I like to play it. Like going second, it's just, this engine alone can out an entire board before I even touch the Spright engine, so.
And going first, I like baits out hand traps.
Yeah, going first, baits out hand traps, yeah. And then, going second a lot of times, I'll just search a Legal Knight just to start clearing the board. So, yeah, definitely would not change that. Love a Legal Knight. And then from here, just kind of some more spicy tech options, right? The 3 Fenrir. These are good, right? You can search yourself. They're pretty much good going first or second. If you're going first, it's an extra interruption. If you're going second, it'll help you clear boards. And just something really interesting too, right? Like if you have Fenrir or you have any of these guys, or even like your token maybe, like all you need is 1, angler, and you link into spring and you're a full combo. Yeah, so it's almost never a brick, which is really cool.
Did you ever side out the Adventure stuff?
No, like sometimes going first, I'll side out a Legal Knight, but that's about it. Maybe like 1 right, 1 Water Enchantress,
okay.
But that's about it, yeah. The engine stays in there. And then lastly, the hand traps of the deck, we only play 8. But just looking for the most impactful ones, right? So Magnamut, and 2 Magnamut, 2 Druid Swarm. These are pretty self-explanatory. Like, unless you're playing pure Bestial, like, these are just the best to throw into your deck, of course. And then generic, 2 Infirm, and 2 Ash Blossom. Unless I absolutely need the card, I like 2 ofs for whatever reason, so, yeah.
Is this enough for going second?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because the thing is, I say, like, okay, less hand traps, 8. And then I'll go with the Adventure engine, because if I don't draw a hand trap, then I'm confident that the Adventure engine can help me clear a board, and set up going second, if need be, as opposed to more hand traps. So, yeah. And I feel like these are just the most generic. Ash is so good against any rogue deck. These for the tier matchups, so makes sense.
You said clean 41, right?
Yeah, clean 41. Yeah, I don't like 40. I always like 41. I don't know why. I'm an odd number guy. I'll go extra deck first. That should make sense. Let's see if we can get this in some kind of order. Yeah, so the 1 Toad, we'll start with the Xyz. Yeah. 2 Gigantic, right? 1 Omnibaru. I think these ones are self-explanatory. Omnibaru to help clear boards, to help go for game, that kind of thing. Definitely won't cut it. Mannequin Cat, I very rarely go into this card, but I figure, there's going to be a niche scenario where I wish I had it, so not going to cut it. Mosquito, this card is insane. This card is basically the OTK condition for Spright now. And There are so many times where like you don't even have to worry about clearing the board. As long as their effects are done, then you just set up Mosquito right away, as long as you can.
And also you can go to like Zeus. It helps like Zeus.
Yeah, it helps facilitate Zeus. Yeah, it's just a completely total better version of
Sky Cavalry.
Yeah, Sky Cavalry. Yeah, just a way better version. Yeah. So we got that, and then for just to help clear the board, Downer, and then Zeus to help make things big. So those are the XZs.
Did you miss anything, or did you want to cut anything, or everything's?
No, I wouldn't change any of this. I mean, I think just because I hardly ever use Mannequin Cat, it's probably, the fringe card. It's probably pretty expendable. But aside from that, I wouldn't cut anything. I think Downer helps you get into it, 4 material Zeus. And the rest is, pretty mandatory, I would say. Mosquito definitely mandatory nowadays. Yeah, and then we'll get into the links. So obviously we have Dark, right? For their generic Link 2s. Dark and IP, pretty self-explanatory. We play the 2 Elf, right? There's been maybe like 1 or 2 games where I wish I had a third one, but it's very rare, so I think 2 is good. Same with Gigantic. The 1 Sprin, I don't think I've ever needed more than 1 Sprin, so obviously we have that one. And then the last 2, Nightmare Unicorn and Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker is really great to clear boards with this deck, because a lot of times you can go into Access Code and then main phase, attack them, whatever, clear their board. And then you usually will still have some sort of link level or rank 2 on board to link off into Sprint afterwards. So
Did you ever miss the other little what's it called, the Avermax?
Avermax, no, yeah, because with this deck I don't really feel I feel like you only really make Avermax if you want to like maybe sit and stall out a little bit, and I don't know, I never really need that for this deck, so not really necessary. Yeah, I think the extra deck is pretty solid. I don't think really there's anything I would change or anything I wish I had for this tournament. So let's just get into the side deck real quick. So we got the 3 tokens. Side deck's a little weird. Still could definitely use some work, but just to kind of get started here. 1 DD Crow. It was just kind of the fringe expendable card. I couldn't really think of anything. And in the mirror match, DD Crow is nuts, so why not? Chaos Hunter. This is mostly for, I guess you could say Runic, right? This hurts Fluanderies. Like today I played Fluanderies and I was able to normal summon this turn 1. So that was pretty cool. And then I guess in theory, right, if you get D-shifted, you can Mannequin Cat this guy on board. I wouldn't say this is necessary, but I think in the current format, it's definitely a good card. Very underrated.
Would you think of maybe making this another Bestial, the D Crow?
I was thinking about that, but I think the reason I went with DD Crow is because it's so good in the mirror match against Spright, whereas the Bestial doesn't really do you anything. But like, you DD Crow their Swap Frog, like that kills their turn basically. So I figured, it was just kind of a last minute decision. Let's go with some of the obvious stuff here. Red Resonator for time. That one's pretty self-explanatory.
Did you ever have to use it today?
No, I did not. I did use it one time. I think I had enough to attack for game, but I wanted to just be extra safe and, gain some life points anyways. But didn't need it today, luckily. Nothing went into time like that. Next, we'll go 3D Shifter.
We can hide that one now.
And, I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory, right? Like, obviously this hurts Spright, but it doesn't kill Spright. So the idea with D-Shifter, right, is it's going to hurt your deck way worse than it's going to hurt my deck.
And you're playing the adventure stuff.
Yeah, and I'm playing the adventure stuff too, which, without the adventure stuff, I probody would not be confident enough to play D-Shifter.
You think you'd still play that even if you don't have the burst, the Gamma Burst, or the Pixies?
What was the question?
Like, if you have the Gamma Burst with this, because like usually people play this and they have like Gamma Burst to like OTK.
I don't think I really miss it, to be honest. Yeah.
Because you can OTK with the Mosquito guy.
Yeah,
right?
and exactly. I think the Mosquito, it makes it so you don't really need Pixies, you don't really need Gamma Burst. Mosquito's kind of a game changer for the deck, for sure, yeah. Next, my favorite going first cards, right? The 3 Sanctum.
Sheesh.
And then the Scythe, of course.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty much, unless I'm going against Flu, right? Or, something weird and crazy that's not going to extra deck. This is going in my deck.
That's really cool, yeah.
Yeah, when I'm going
first,
first, every single time. Yeah, every single time. Love it.
You think it's better than D-Barrier?
Hard to say. I mean, in certain, D-Barrier is obviously better against tier limit, but I think this is just, going into a tournament, this is the safer option because it can hit anything, right? Like this in the mirror match is insane. This against, anything. Sword Soul, Link decks, it's crazy. Whereas, D-Barrier, you can't hit Link decks or anything like that. And I think Link monsters are probably the most powerful monsters in this format anyways. So, yeah, this one,
Did it
for
get
sure.
ashed at all?
No, never gets ashed. Yeah, it never ever gets ashed. I don't know why. I guess because if someone's going to ash you, they're probably going to do it on your turn 1 board setup anyways. So it never gets ashed. Occasionally, it'll get impermed. if you're ballsy enough, you can wait for them to put a monster if you're afraid of that.
Or
But,
Gamma, you know.
Yeah. But more often than not, it's pretty safe to just shotgun and standby phase. Yeah. And then the last few cards here, my two favorite going second cards, Evenly Matched and Drool and Lockbird.
More the two ofs,
yeah, more the two ofs. Yeah, I love two ofs. I don't know what it is, but evenly matched, right? This one of the craziest board breakers in the format. And then Droll, like, I don't care what people say, it will never come out of my side deck. It kills Flunderies, it kills tons of rogue decks. So yeah, love that card.
I didn't see besides the Droll, that was your only like hate versus Flu, right?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. Droll, and I mean, I guess evenly, but that kind of hates everything. But I think my theory with Flu is, right, so like there's a weird play if they shifter you on your turn and you have Chaos.
Oh yeah,
Hunter
I forgot. Yeah, Chaos.
Yeah, you can Mannequin Cat, get Chaos Hunter on board, and that will completely shut off their shifter, even if it's already been activated.
And this shuts them down too because they can't banish, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then it completely shuts them down. But when I win the die roll, I'm very confident I can win the game against Spright. And then if I don't win the die roll, you gotta hope for the best going second. But yeah.
Because going first, you can just make like 3-toad, and that usually ends it.
And also, I feel like there aren't a ton of Flu players at this locals, or at this event. Because otherwise, if I thought there was going to be a lot more Flu players, I probably would side in some more respect for that.
Gotcha. And do you remember your matchups?
Not all of them. So I know.
Well, not in order, but just like what you played.
I lost to a Runic mill deck, which was pretty crazy. Let's see. I know I had Tier Limit one matchup. I played Branded.
Yeah.
I had Tier Limit twice, actually. Played Branded, and then I can't remember the first one right now, but they're all pretty solid matchups. It was nothing too rogue. Everything was pretty meta for the most part.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for the profile.
Oh, yeah, man.